Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another YouTube video. It's another tier list, and this one has been highly requested. Shout out my guy Paper Waper from Discord, from Twitch. He's been plugging this tier list for months now, it feels like, and it is a good one. Today we're going to be doing the best number 10s and second strikers of the 21st century, so 2000s onwards. As you guys can see from some of these names, we got some big hitters here, and we've done these for other positions as well too, so make sure you guys check out every other tier list that I've done, because there's been some good ones and you guys seem to really enjoy this. And also let me know what I should do a tier list on next, because we've done it for individual players, we've done it for positions, maybe managers next. I don't know, you let me know. But without further ado, let's get started now. I can't lie, chat. Number 10s and second strikers is my favorite position when talking about players, because I think these are the real mavericks. These are the real magicians on the pitch. This isn't the position where you really care too much about the goal scoring numbers or even the assist numbers, right? I just think you look at these guys as the magicians of the pitch. You look at these guys as the players that you kind of give the ball to and say, take me there, unlock a defense for me, make a moment of magic. These are your favorite players' favorite players. The number 10, it's a position that honestly doesn't exist too much in the modern game. Maybe the second striker a little more, but it's a position that when football was really at its most entertaining to watch, these guys were running the show, man. And it's a shame because a lot of these guys, man, some of them are still kicking, right? But some of these guys, yo, ballers. And it's actually funny, right? The first player to talk about here is Pablo Aimar. Pablo Aimar. Now, if I'm not mistaken, guys, I actually think this is Messi's favorite player, or this was a player that Messi has spoken about as like who was a huge inspiration on his career. Pablo Aimar. I mean, Argentinian number 10, diminutive, small in stature, not missing anything when it comes to technique, though. Wonderful and close control, dribbling, tight spaces, such an absolute genius of a footballer, man. Made his name at Valencia, at Benfica for the Argentinian national team. A wonderful player, Pablo Aimar. A lot of people in my chat right now are saying never heard of him. I would highly recommend the YouTube videos, man. This guy was an absolute baller. He has one game in particular. It was actually towards the end of his career for Chelsea, or for Benfica, excuse me, against Chelsea in the Champions League, where the guy was unbelievable to watch, man. The question is, where does he rank? And this video is really difficult because I'm honestly going to do this, in my opinion, probably a whole lot more on quality rather than numbers. And Pablo Aimar ranks really highly on quality. Having said that, there's a lot of big names coming up. I'm actually going to put Pablo Aimar table 3 for now. We'll see how the rest of the list goes. As I always say, by the way, don't jump if you don't like a ranking at first. This list is open to change. So if I feel like I have too many people on one list, guys can move down. But I think for the first ones, you know, it's always okay. It's always fine for me to put them table 3, table 4. It's middle of the pack, man. Not too high, not too low. So I put Pablo Aimar table 3 for now. Now, next up is Bernardo Silva. And right off the bat, this is a little confusing for me because Bernardo Silva was a number 10 at Monaco. Honestly, he was probably more off the right at Monaco, right? But at Man City, I feel like he's largely been used as an 8, as a central midfielder, real box to box. At times, he even played as a 6. As a 10 or a second striker, I don't really think he belongs on this list. And in fact, the times where he has played as a number 10 has kind of been for Portugal, where I think he's been a little underwhelming. So Bernardo Silva, I'm almost thinking, should he even be on this list? Because I don't think, like, he's a brilliant player. I think I put him in my all-time great midfielders list, and I think he was table 4 or so, but he's not a number 10. So for that reason, do you guys want me to leave him out or put him table 6? What do you guys want? Because he's not going to rank highly as a number 10 for me, man. I think there's better attacking midfielders for that position. Leave him out? Okay. Bernardo Silva, you will not be included in this list. Dennis Bergkamp. Again, you know how I said your favorite player's favorite player? I'll tell you a story right now, right? I was obviously working for DAZN for the last 3 weeks, right? Covering the Club World Cup for them. And we should all show up super early to watch the games. But also, a big reason for it is because a lot of ex-players or even current players are on punditry duties and they sit in the green room with us to watch the games. We chat, we eat food, we talk. And I love showing up early to really pick their brains and hear stories about players and teams that they used to play for. And towards the end, a guy that showed up for the last 2 episodes that I was on was Gaël Clichy, who is now obviously the under-23 French assistant coach. He's coached Servette, but had an amazing career as well too for France, Arsenal, and City. But when I was talking to him, I really I remembered him for City, for Arsenal, but not how far back he played. So he was telling us all these stories about his career, right? And it all started off by him telling us Aguero on the first day of Manchester City training was apparently really bad. And he said his first touch in his first training session was terrible. Like, he was like, what the hell is this guy doing here? Obviously, in game, he's an unbelievable player, but in training, apparently, he just couldn't really be asked. And I was thinking, I was like, you know how we always hear there's certain players who are really good in training? And I'm like, who was the best player you played with in training? Expecting him to say Fabregas or David Silva or, I don't know, Nasri maybe. I was like, it's probably David Silva, right? And he's like, nah, Dennis Bergkamp. And when he said Dennis Bergkamp, I actually forgot. Gael Clichy was an invincible. I completely forgot Gael Clichy was part of that invincible team. Now, he wasn't a starter. Obviously, Ashley Cole was the starter on that team. But I completely forgot he was part of the invincible season. And I thought, oh, I'm talking about these guys. He played with Henry. He played with Dennis Bergkamp. He played with Pires. But the way he was describing Dennis Bergkamp, right? He was basically telling us, in training, you can hear, as a professional footballer, when the ball is like being hit, who's kind of hitting it. Like, just like the of the ball. Like, if it's really hit cleanly, you know it's Pires, or you know it's Henry or whatever, especially when it's kind of being passed around in training. You can tell if the ball is being hit with a certain sound, whether the training session is going well. Or, I don't know, if the ball sounds like more like, I don't know, something like that. Clearly, the passing isn't that crisp that day. But he said the way you could tell it was Dennis Bergkamp, when a foot hit the ball, you didn't even have to be watching. You could just hear it, and you know it's Dennis Bergkamp. This guy's an absolute genius. You hear Henry talk about the best player he played with outside of Messi, Dennis Bergkamp. He's played with some amazing players, bro. Ian Wright, they asked him, why don't you have a statue outside of... Oh, did he ask him that? He said something about, like, do you think you should have a statue outside of the Emirates? And he goes, you see who has a statue? Dennis Bergkamp. I can't be in a room with Dennis Bergkamp, man. He's a different level of player, bro. Dennis Bergkamp, man. I mean, obviously a little bit before my time in terms of watching him live week in, week out. But you talk about the most technically gifted, genius footballers in Premier League history. This guy's table 1 in terms of technical ability. An absolute wizard on the ball. I think for me, table 2. Table 2. And even you look at statistics, right? His assist numbers for Arsenal were always pretty high. Decent goal scorer as well, too, playing in that front 2 next to Henry. I got him table 2 for me, man. Table 2 easily. This is a second strikers and number 10s. Santi Cazorla. Again, chat, I'm tempted to put next to Bernardo Silva because for me, at Malaga, for me, he was playing deeper. Isco was really the 10. And at Arsenal, played in a double pivot. So maybe Santi we leave out as well too. This guy for me is not really like, he's a flary midfielder, but not really an attacking midfielder in the way he's deployed. Genius of, again, a really, really good player. But I don't know if I can include him in this list. So I'm going to put him again at the bottom. Joe Cole. Again, I'm going to tell another story from the zone recently. I learned a lot, guys. I learned a lot. So Joe Cole was doing basically the England under-21 coverage, I think, at the under-21 tournament. So he was in his own little studio, right? And John Obi Mikel was basically talking to someone else. I can't remember who it was. And he was like, oh, you see, he was talking to that player. He's like, oh, you seen who I saw in the dressing room? I saw Zizou. I thought, Zizou? What the? Like Zidane. I was like, yo, Zidane's here. He goes, nah, Zizou. That's what we used to call Joe Cole. I said, oh my God. That is the coldest nickname of all time. If your teammates call you Zizou, you are clear. You are clear. And to be fair, when you talk about naturally gifted footballers that England as a footballing nation have produced, Joe Cole has to rank extremely highly, man. He has to rank extremely highly. Now, I think in terms of what he got out of his career, he's going to have to be punished a little bit here. Because I know I talked about technical ability, but these guys are very technical and I think still achieved more from an individual point of view from their career. I think Joe Cole injuries, he was really influential to those first two Chelsea teams, 04-05, then 05-06. But then after that, I think the injuries really caught up to him. And I think Chelsea as a football club just kind of progressed a little too quickly for him. So never really a starter for England. In fact, he's another one. They kind of played him out of position. He was almost playing off the left at times. But I think I put him at number 5, table 5. Great player, man. Honestly, what a talent. But I think when we look at the guys who are going to come ahead of him, I think this is okay for him. Rui Costa. These are just old school number 10s, man. Kaká before Kaká. I say Kaká before Kaká. He was at AC Milan before Kaká, but he was the original number 10 at AC Milan. And of course, Fiorentina. Number 10 for the Portuguese national team. And before Cristiano Ronaldo really broke onto the scene, it was him and Figo who were really waving the flag for that Portuguese national team. And this guy was an absolute genius. You look at those early 2000s Portugal versus England matchups. And I always felt, watching them back, because I have watched a lot of those games back, this guy was always the one running the game for them, man. Up against Gerrard, Scholes, Lampard, whoever it was. It almost always felt like Rui Costa was the one with the magic wand deciding those international games. A real throwback of a player. And then, of course, walked so Kaká could run. A real baller, man. Rui Costa, I put table 3. Felipe Coutinho, great player. Great player. Obviously the move against Barcelona really hurts him. But at Liverpool, the guy was a real good player, man. Real maverick of a player, cutting in off that left. Those amazing long shots. I mean, the guy had a goal of the season contenders nearly every single season, man. Having said that, I think Coutinho might go table 5. Because here's the thing, guys. For a player to be valued at 100 whatever million at one point, I never thought he was worth that money. But the fact that a football club was even willing to pay that much for him, I think speaks to how gifted a player he was. But I think he was really good at Liverpool for like 2-3 seasons, especially that 17-18 first half of the year. But before that, wasn't really a big player. I mean, he was at Inter kind of like as a squad player. And after that, his career just fell off a cliff. So I think for now, we'll put him at table 5 and we'll kind of see the rest of the table, the rest how it goes. It is technical ability, but I actually think these guys had a little bit more magic than Coutinho. I think this guy had a wonderful shot on him, and the way he was able to kind of buy himself a yard, drop a shoulder, cut in, and get those shots off was brilliant. But I put him table 5, to be honest with you, bro. I put him table 5. It's not about numbers for me whatsoever, but I just think these guys are better players, to be honest with you. David Silva. Table 2. Table 2. Wow. I absolutely love David Silva. I absolutely love David Silva. You talk about metronomes, magicians. Left foot like a wand. That's the description of David Silva. That left foot was like a wand. And you know how there was like this conversation recently about who was like the most Barcelona-coded player to never play for Barcelona? I think it might be him. You look at that Spanish national team, and you had Xavi from Barca, Iniesta from Barca, Busquets from Barca, Fabregas from Barca, Alonso from Real, Ramos from Real, Piqué from Barca, Alba from Barca, Valdez or Casillas from Real. That 2012 team, who was the one guy that got into that team outside of that, the big two? David Silva. Do it for David Silva. We have to do it for David Silva. What a player. What a player. And the way he changed his game up when Pep came, let's not forget what David Silva with the long hair looked like. Number 10 David Silva in a 4-2-2-2 system. Him and Nasri as the dual 10s. Let's not forget how he changed his game and became bald and became the all-action number 8 under Pep Guardiola as well, too. Come on, man. Don't forget about that version of David Silva as well, too. 17-18, 18-19 David Silva. When Yaya Toure was starting to decline. Company was starting to decline. Aguero was having his last few good... Hey, David Silva was still that guy, man. And then for the Spanish national team as well, too. Such a key cog in that Euro 2012 side, man. This guy was such a brilliant player, man. His passing, his vision, his IQ, his positioning, his sense of when to kind of goes into the box and finish off. I think he was unbelievable, man. I honestly think he's one of the most underrated players in Premier League history. And again, when you talk to players about who's the most gifted player you played with, a lot of those Man City players say it was David Silva. Having said that, this guy's number 1. Having said that, this guy's number 1. Kevin De Bruyne. An absolute demon. An absolute demon. You talk about David Silva's left foot being a wand. Kevin De Bruyne's right foot is a wand, but it's also a bazooka. Because my goodness, the way this guy used to let off crosses or let off long strikes or let off 40-yard passes through the lines. The best passer the Premier League has ever seen. The best I mean, we've talked about this, me and Cam, numerous times. And I think it really depends on what you like, right? Cesc Fabregas, in terms of like the middle of the park, I think is an unbelievable passer. Paul Scholes, those passes from deep, on a different level. Kevin De Bruyne in the final third is the king. And the thing is, even deeper as well, too, he ain't too shabby, man. You talk about passing being a gift. Just knowing how to connect your foot to the ball perfectly, virtually every single time. I don't think anybody has passed the ball better than Kevin De Bruyne in the history of the Premier League. The guy had a gift, man. He had a real gift. And Henry calls him the smartest player he ever worked with. The most intelligent player he ever worked with. And you could tell even watching him during the games. The way his mind seemed to work at 1,000 miles an hour, he just picks his head up. And it almost like the game, he picks his head up on that favored right side, right? That right pocket in the half space. And it's almost like the game freezes, he picks his head up, and he just starts calculating all his options. What percentage of a chance do I have if I play this pass? Or if I play that pass? Or if I have that pass? His brain is like a computer. What a player, man. And then you talk about the amount of clutch goals, big Champions League games, big Premier League deciders, run-ins, world level, man. World all-timer for me, Kevin De Bruyne. What a player. Deco. The best player on a Champions League winning team. Porto 2004. Then joined Barcelona and became such a big cog to that team, the 2006 Champions League winning side. Similar to Costa and Figo, a key cog to that early 2000s Portugal team. Such a talented player, man. Such a talented player. I think Deco, do we think Deco was better or worse than Rui Costa? I think I put Deco here, man. I think Deco could operate a little deeper as well, too, in terms of like being an 8 as well, where this guy for me is like typical old school number 10. But Deco, the footballing brain this guy had, man. He wasn't the quickest. He was not the quickest. He's not the most physically imposing, but his footballing mind was just on a different level, man. And again, the way he could just kind of maneuver himself out of positions, see passes that nobody else on the pitch could. Big goals as well, too. I think Deco was fantastic, man. Fantastic player. I put him table 3. Martin Odegaard. Table 6. He hasn't done enough. And in fact, it's funny, all of these guys are number 10s. And a lot of people, I think, put Odegaard in their mind as a number 10. I actually think he's at his best as a number 8 because the difference between him and virtually every single player I've just named, they have a killer pass in them. They have a pass in their locker that can kill teams. I look at Odegaard as more of an associative player. He really likes to link up play, connect deep, play 1-2s. He doesn't really have that creative genius about him like Bergkamp did, like Kevin De Bruyne did, like Pablo Aimar did. He's a safe player, to be honest with you. He doesn't take the risks that these other guys do. And in terms of efficiency, I'm sure he's a lot more efficient than these guys. But these guys are match winners. These guys are game changers. Odegaard isn't. I'm sorry, he's got to be at table 6 for me. Alessandro Del Piero. Oh my God. I forgot Del Piero. You know, players like Del Piero are the reason I wanted to do this list so badly. Because we did a strikers list and people asked where Del Piero was. Then we did a number 10 list and people asked where Del Piero was. And quite simply, I didn't think he was either. Del Piero is neither a 9 for me, nor a 10. He's what do they call it? Trequartista. I think that's what they call it, right? Him, Totti. They're Cassano similar. They're a 9.5. This guy's table 1, and it really just depends where you put him. I'm going to put him here for now. Del Piero is easily table 1. Easily. At one point, there's an argument to be made. He was the best player in the world for a year. Late 90s, Del Piero. Before the injury that completely changed him, made him change the way he had to play. An absolute genius, man. Absolute. And the difference between him and a lot of these guys as well, too, he was a creative genius. He was a wonderful dribbler of the ball. He had a real eye for a pass. But goal scoring wise, this guy's a better goal scorer than everybody we've named so far. By far. Absolutely brilliant player, man. I think he's got to be table 1. Next player. If you guys know me, this guy right here is one of my favorite players. I'm even going to prove it, just in case you guys are saying I'm lying. My Twitch chat knows what I'm about. But this is for the people on YouTube. I love Diego Ribas. Oh my God. What a player. Werder Bremen Diego Ribas, before he went to Juventus, was a gem. Was an absolute gem. I think he even won Bundesliga Player of the Year one year. Was so influential to so many of Werder Bremen's good European runs or good league runs as well too. I think this guy was incredible, bro. Diego Ribas at Werder Bremen was easily one of the best number 10s in the world. The problem is he made the wrong move at the wrong time. He should never, ever have gone to that Juve team. Especially in a real transition era in Serie A. A real transition era for Juve as well too. It was the wrong move. And ultimately, post-Juve, he went to Wolfsburg, had a decent time there. Went to Atleti, had a decent time there. But his career was never the same. His career was never the same. I don't know, man. I want to put him at table 5. But I have a bad feeling he's going to end up being moved down to table 6. So for now, I'm going to leave him here because I love him. Honestly, this is one of my favorite players of all time. Long shots, playmaking, dribbling, could drift out wide, could drift into the box and score. Had an unbelievable partnership with Ozil. 2 number 10s for Werder Bremen. Was really good with close up front. Then Claudio Pizarro. This is real streets won't forget, guys. Diego Ribas. What a player, man. What a player. Dybala. Ooh. Guys, this list is so tough. This list is so tough. What the hell? Oh, Dybala was amazing, bro. Dybala was amazing. What a player. What a player, Dybala. I think he's got to be table 3. Oh, Dybala was insane, though. You talk about that Juve side, mid-2010s, that went to the Champions League final in 2017, that won so many Scudettos. He was the best player on that team. The heir to Alessandro Del Piero. We're all talking about Yildiz now. This guy was the real heir to the number 10 at Juve. A real second striker, playing off the likes of Mandzukic, Gonzalo Higuain, Cristiano at one point, could play off the right. A left foot, they would have called him La Joya, the jewel. I love Dybala, man. I love Dybala. I think I put him table 3. Maybe I put him here. Dybala is unbelievable. At one point, he was the best player in Serie A for me. I agree, Taha. At one point, Serie A, he was the cover boy. He was the golden boy of that league. And his big European games as well, too. That game against Barca, where he scored the 2 goals at the Allianz. That run to the Champions League final in 2017. It was his team, bro. What a player, man. Christian Eriksen. I like Eriksen a lot. I'm going to put him at table 4. Really good player, Eriksen. Personally, guys, I always thought Eriksen was better than Coutinho. This guy had an eye for the more spectacular, but I think he was just flat out. I think he was just a better player, to be honest, Eriksen. All around. Set pieces, long shots, passing, conducting. He could play deeper. He could play out wide. He could play in the number 10. I think Eriksen's footballing brain was higher than Felipe Coutinho's. I think that's really the biggest difference between the two of them. I think he just made the right decision consistently more than this guy. Even though this guy could change games probably in a way that Eriksen couldn't. Like Coutinho, when he was on it, was unplayable. But I just think this guy was a little bit more reliable. I really liked Eriksen, man. For me, one of the more underrated players of that Premier League era. I put him table 4. Bruno Fernandes. I put him table 4. I put him table 4. Now, I feel like some people are going to say he needs to be lower. I feel like some people are going to say he needs to be higher. I think Bruno Fernandes belongs at table 4. I don't think we've seen many midfielders ever reach the statistical numbers that Bruno Fernandes has reached at that position. Yeah, he has revolutionized what it means to be a goal-scoring number 10. However, I just think these guys probably affected winning a bit more than Bruno. And yes, he's been unfortunate. He has been unfortunate because he's played for a garbage Man United team for a lot of years. But I just think these guys have a little bit more than him, to be honest with you. His numbers and his consistency at Man United have been brilliant. But I have no problem really saying these guys are better players. And I think ultimately that's what it comes down to for me. I think these guys are better players than Bruno Fernandes. But for me, still, I have him table 4. That's not bad. But I got him here. Now the question is, peak Eriksen or peak Bruno? We'll go back to that. But for me, they're both table 4 right now. Firmino, I put Firmino table 4 as well too. I do. Part of one of the best front threes the Premier League has ever seen. Maybe the best front three. And an unbelievable, again, facilitator for those two wide guys. A real baller, real eye for a pass, unselfish, could score goals as well too. But I have to be honest with Firmino as well too. I think he was good, but I wouldn't say he was better than any of these guys either, man. I think he was part of a really good team, and he was an important part of that team. I don't think Salah or Mane do anything to the level they did without Firmino as a 3. But I think those two were a clear level above him. And I think if you were to give Firmino his own team, he wouldn't have performed as well as these other guys. If you put Firmino in that Porto team instead of Deco, Porto are not winning the Champions League. If you put Firmino in that Juve team instead of Dybala, Juve are not winning what they did. That's my opinion. So he's a brilliant player, and he was huge to that team. But I don't think he's better than any of these players above him. Mario Götze. I think Götze has to be 6. Unbelievable talent. Has one of the most iconic moments in World Cup history, but just didn't do enough of his career. And I feel for him because I think from what I've read, a lot of it has to do with health issues that he couldn't really control himself. But yeah, man, I put Mario Götze at number 6. Could have been I think he debuted for Dortmund at what, 16, 17 years old. Real quality player, but just didn't do enough of his career, man. Antoine Griezmann. I think Griezmann might be table 2, bro. I mean, again, similar to Del Piero in terms of when it comes to scoring goals, he's on a different level to all of these guys. Intelligent. Nah, he's not the first. Griezmann is not better than Dennis Bergkamp. No, not for me. I would put Griezmann right here. But again, what a player. Big goals, big games, World Cup final. I mean, he was the top scorer for that French team. That won a World Cup. Atletico Madrid's all-time goal scorer as well too. Ballon d'Or podium twice. Was the best player on that Atletico team that went to the Champions League final. But I have these 4 ahead of him. I think table 2, middle of the pack, is good for him. Eidur Gudjohnsen, good player. No pun intended. However, again, I think I'm going to put him at table 4. I think Gudjohnsen belongs here. He was a very underrated piece of that Chelsea team. The early Chelsea teams, him and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Devastating front 2. Then even into the Mourinho sides later on. Always played a big role. Always scored big goals as well too. Went to Barcelona, did okay as well there as well. But I think Gudjohnsen, again, similar. I just find all of these players are better than him. And in fact, even table 4, he might end up being moved down. I might even move him down, to be honest with you. I think Gudjohnsen belongs around here. Guti. Now, Guti for me, see, this is where it gets tough, bro. Because there's already, I'm even looking at the names that still have to come. Guti's higher than table 6, has to be higher than table 6. Is he table 4 or is he table 3? I think I can put Guti right here. Always ever present in those Real Madrid sides. La Fabrica, as they call it. Really technically gifted. Footballing brain was off the charts. All of the Galacticos always talk about how intelligent of a player Guti was. And the thing with Guti as well too, was he was unselfish, man. He was willing to play deeper. He was willing to play in the 10. He was willing to play out wide. At times to his detriment. But because they had Zidane, because they had Figo, because they have Beckham, because they have R9, because they have Raul, who's going to come up on this list as well too, he's willing to play in a deeper pivot, even though his genius is really at show in a number 10. For me, Guti can hang at... Where do I have Guti? This is where it gets tough. I think I'm going to put him table 4 for now, and then we can change the order of it later on. But for me, he belongs table 4 for now. Marek Hamsik. Oh, Hamsik was a top player. The first time I ever saw Marek Hamsik was in that front 3 with himself, Lavezzi, and Cavani. And again, you talk about this mid-2010s era of Serie A. Hamsik was a damn good player, man. Slovakian legend. Big goals, big performances. Il Capitano, wore his heart on his sleeve. Real all-action midfielder. In fact, for me, probably more of an 8 than a 10. But he could do a job of an attacking midfielder as well, too. Hamsik was a man for the big occasions. Napoli legend through and through. And I think I'm going to put him table 4 or table 5 for me. Table 4 or table 5. I think here. I think here for me. Is that Isco? Isco. I think I put Isco really high on my first list. Isco's table 3. Isco's table 3 for me. Wonderful footballer. When this guy was fully on it, chat, and there's been a few occasions we can all remember. Those early days of Malaga, those games against Atletico Madrid for Real, that Spain game versus Italy. I mean, this guy's a magician. This guy's a magician. There's not too much that needs to be said. What he did for Malaga was amazing. Then what he would go on to do for that Real Madrid side, pushing Gareth Bale out of the team, just making Zidane play a 4-1-2-1-2 diamond with him at the tip, right behind Benzema and Ronaldo, excuse me. Pulling the strings, drifting out wide, being the creative outlet, the footballing brain on this guy, the technical ability. What a player, man. Isco has to be table 3. Has to be. Oh, Ricardo Kaká. Kaká, man. Okay, I can tell you guys this. I think De Bruyne and Del Piero are better than Kaká. I do think so. I think those two are better than Kaká. So he's below these two. And I know a lot of people in my chat are saying, just drag your mouse, put him at 1. I implore you guys to see who's coming up soon. I love Kaká. Love him the bits. And I think in terms of his peak, if we were going all of these guys' peak, bro, he might be here. That 07, he made movies. The problem with Kaká, I think, is how long he was able to do it, right? We never got to see Kaká really at his best post 2007, because 07-08 Milan completely fell off. 08-09 transition year, 09-10 Real Madrid, and from there he was just injured all the time. But at his very best, Ricardo Kaká was a phenom. The thing with Kaká, though, that I think people get mixed up with him is because of how elegant he looked on the ball and how fun of a player he was to watch. I think the memory of Kaká is skewed a little. People look at Kaká as this technical wizard, and he was very technically gifted, no doubt about it, a genius of a player. But a lot of Kaká's game was based on pace and power. And I think someone just said in my chat, Kaká's not even better than Eriksen. I'm talking to 8-year-olds right now. A lot of Kaká's game was based on pace and power. How fast he was, how explosive he was, how good he was at running at players. And when he did lose the athleticism because of his injuries, he wasn't able to adapt his game, evolve his game like a David Silva, for example. But oh my goodness, if we're just talking about best level, and in my opinion, I value best level more than how long you did it for, Kaká's one of the best to ever do it. One of the best to ever do it. So I'm going to put him at 1 now, but I'm just telling you guys, we have some big hitters coming up, bro. We have some big hitters. Juan Mata. Again, best version of Mata at Chelsea was a player. 2011-12 Champions League winners, Chelsea player of the season. 2012-2013 Europa League winners, Chelsea player of the season. Those 2 seasons from Mata were incroyable, out of this world. He emerged as one of the best number 10s in the Premier League, maybe the best number 10 at the time. Oh, the set pieces, the left foot, the goals for Chelsea. He was unbelievable. And then Mourinho came and it all changed. Mourinho saw Chelsea in his image as a side that played better with Oscar as the number 10, a more industrious, hard-working number 10 that could drift out wide and track back and allow Hazard to be the real genius of that team. And that in turn forced Mata out the team, forced him out the club, and sent him to Man United. However, he had a similar issue at Man United. His issue was called Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney already wanted to play behind the striker. Wayne Rooney already wanted to play as a number 10. Therefore, shifting Mata out to a right winger, where we would see him for the rest of his Man United career. And he had big goals for Man United. He had big moments for Man United. And in hindsight, his time at Man United is actually quite underrated. But I'm sorry, it's not good enough to put him anywhere near where he probably should have been. Those 2 years at Chelsea are like tier 3. The rest of his career, it pushes him down for me, bro. It pushes him down for me. I probably put him table 5, to be honest with you, man. I probably put him table 5. He had 2 amazing seasons. But after that, maybe table 4. Maybe I put Guti here. Maybe I could put him. Honestly, the 2 seasons were amazing. After that, it fell off a cliff, bro. It fell off a cliff. Thomas Muller, the king of the second striker. The Ramduter, as they call him. When I think of players that have maximized their career off purely their footballing IQ, Thomas Muller has to rank extremely highly. Because when you look at all of these players on this list, all these number 10s, all of these mavericks, all of these magicians, they're all much more technically skilled than Thomas Muller, right? Bergkamp, Silva, De Bruyne, Kaká, Del Piero, Rui Costa. They're all more gifted players naturally than Thomas Muller. I think most people I think Muller would agree with that. But in terms of maximizing your career off how you think the game and being in positions that other players would never even think of being, and simplicity, and scoring goals, and coming up clutch, This guy turned a career that honestly should have been good to elite. Elite, man. Muller's got to be here, bro. Muller's got to be here. Look at what he's accomplished in his career, bro. The numbers that he's put up, the goals that he's scored, the trophies that he's won, the big performances he's put together for Germany and Bayern, the longevity that he's had. At one point with Thomas Muller, it looked like he was about to smash R9's goal scoring record. It looked like he was about to smash R9's World Cup goal scoring record. Because after 2 tournaments, 2010 and 2014, I think he had what, like 8 or 9 goals? And he was like, what, 24? And he never scored another World Cup goal after that. Muller was an amazing player though, man. For me, bottom of table too. I agree. Next up, Samir Nasri. What a player. What a player. Unfortunately, didn't have the consistency or the longevity. And this table 5 is starting to get real clogged up. But this guy was a baller, man. For Arsenal towards the latter years, for Marseille, for Man City in the early seasons, real baller. Honestly, you talk about street footballers, players that can just get on the ball and make things happen. Nasri was a talent. But unfortunately, I just think there's guys who are also talents that did it for a little longer than he did and at a higher level. JJ Okocha. Let me say this quietly so Cam doesn't hear me. Because I think if I put him anywhere where Cam doesn't want, he might bug out at me. Again, so this is the contrast between him and Muller. JJ Okocha is a much more technically gifted footballer than Thomas Muller. He's not half the player he is, if we're being honest. This is the difference between footballer and player. Guys, he can't be table 3. I'm sorry, all of these guys accomplished far more in their career than JJ did. In terms of skill, technique, he's a genius. In terms of player, I'm going to put him here. And these guys are going to have to start dropping down. I can't put him anywhere higher, bro. I'm sorry. Like, Okocha's unbelievable. But what does his career really represent? Like, in terms of a cultural impact, yes, bro, the guy's a legend. But in terms of, like, his footballing career, I just don't think he's got enough. Yeah, his club career doesn't stack up. I think 5 is okay for him here. Oscar. 6 for me. He was a good player in those Chelsea title-winning teams. No doubt about it. A good player in those title-winning teams. But nothing more than that. I'll be real though, I low-key think Mourinho ruined this guy. Because we all remember Oscar's debut for Chelsea against Juve. That half turn on Pirlo to then bend it past Gigi Buffon. And then scoring a brilliant goal after that as well too. We were looking at Oscar thinking, uh-oh, this guy's a problem. And I remember that, was it the Brazil Olympic team with him and Neymar together? Or it was those early Brazil teams. We were looking at him, Neymar. Wow, they could be the next shining lights for Brazil. Ganso as well too. I think Mourinho came in and turned him into a warrior. He turned him into a soldier. And he was very effective. But I think from an individual perspective, we never got to see the best of Oscar. He's got to be table 6. Mesut. Oh. Mesut. Simple. Chat, in terms of playmaking, is Ozil the best on this whole list so far? In terms of playmaking, is he the best on this whole list so far? I think he just might be. You talk about footballing genius. This guy had a gift, man. Honestly, he had a gift. The way he could just see things on a football pitch that nobody else could so consistently throughout his career. I mean, some of the goals that his Real Madrid sides and Arsenal sides would score, where he literally has his fingerprints all over him because of the way he runs the game and he's passing and moving and finding players in positions they didn't even know they should be in. He was unbelievable. His first touch was an absolute joke. His control in tight spaces was an absolute joke. Ozil was an absolute work of art, man. Seriously. I think the question is he above David Silva? And I think I'm going to put David Silva above him. But again, you talk about Barcelona-coded players that could have played for Barca at their very peak with Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets. There were Clásicos, right? Where Xavi's playing, Iniesta's playing, Busquets is playing, Alonso's playing. He's the best midfielder on the park, performance-wise. A joke, man. That Real Madrid team, Cristiano, Higuain, Benzema, Di Maria, so many guns, rifles, shotguns, bazookas, and he's supplying the bullets. What a player, man. What a player. Yeah, no, for me, he's a better player than Griezmann. Griezmann might have had a longer career, accomplished a bit more, but I'm sorry, in my opinion, Griezmann is not even close to Ozil as a player. I think Ozil's a better player than him. The worst decision he ever made was joining that Arsenal side, in my eyes. In my eyes, the worst decision he ever made was joining Arsenal. Dimi Payet, oh man. Again, in terms of just ballers, bro. In terms of just ballers. This guy was so special, bro. Nah, he's not table 4. Again, he didn't have a better career than any of these guys. But he's so good. He's so good. Like, for me, he's a much better player, like footballer, than most of the guys on this list. But yeah, only one season, really, where he was playing at, like, a world level. And it was at West Ham, which tells you everything you need to know. But yeah, man. Where do I put him? Maybe here. We're gonna have to do some shifting around, man. Raul has to be table 1. Easy. Before Cristiano Ronaldo existed, this was Mr. Champions League. I'm of the age where I was watching football before Ronaldo and Messi really took off. And everybody knew Raul was Mr. Champions League. The Champions League goal scoring record was his. I didn't think anyone was going to break it. Obviously, so many guys have broken it now. But my goodness. Nah, he's not table 2, bro. He has to be table 1. The heart and soul of Real Madrid, the captain, the leader, the focal point at times, the guy who survived so many different eras. Pre-Galacticos, during the Galacticos, post-Galacticos, when Madrid were winning titles in the late 2000s. He was the guy, man. He was the guy. And also, what a technically brilliant player Raul was as well, too. Such a good technical footballer. Again, him, Del Piero, Totti, Rooney, these are what I call second strikers. But his technical ability was unreal. This is 10s and second strikers. Raul is the epitome of a second striker. So for me, I have him table 1. I think he's a no-brainer table 1, to be honest with you. Even though I say that, and now I'm starting to look at other names and I'm starting to get worried. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, continue. Keep going. Recoba. This is where I'm gonna be honest, right? I don't like speaking on players I don't know enough about. Recoba, I've heard stories. And in fact, if I'm gonna give you guys another story, Christian Vieri was telling us the way this guy used to strike a football was ridiculous. This guy in training striking a football, he said he's never seen anything like it. But I haven't seen enough of Recoba. And for that reason, I'm gonna be honest with you guys in my audience and put him at the bottom, or put him at I'm not gonna rank him. I didn't watch enough of him. I've never seen enough clips. I didn't see him live enough. I'm gonna put him at the bottom. Just to be honest. There's no point in me talking about a player I haven't seen enough of. Marco Reus. For me, right here. Top of table 4. I think Reus was a baller, man. And again, injuries aside, what a career he could have ended up having, bro. What a career this guy could have ended up having. Loyalty as well, too. Hurt him in the end. He could have, I say hurt him. I'm sure he's happy with his career, but he could have gone on to win numerous league titles at Bayern, Champions Leagues. Injuries aside, he could have been winning World Cups with Germany. But this guy was ridiculous. And I think everybody knew it, man. I think you look at the best player to not play for Bayern of the Bundesliga in the 2010s, it has to be him. It has to be him. And his career was amazing too, guys. His career was absolutely amazing. He scored loads of goals. He did so many good things for Borussia Dortmund. Led them on so many deep cup runs. Challenged for the Bundesliga a time or two. So he had a good career. But yeah, to be honest, this is hard to rank. We're gonna re-rank these at the end. I'm just putting them in the tables I think they belong in. Riquelme. Riquelme for me goes right here. Because he's better than Aymar. Riquelme is a better player than Aymar. If it had to do with actual ability, he'd actually be higher. He'd actually be higher. But this is where I'm trying to really find a balance between how good of a footballer I think they are and their career. And for others, their footballing ability is so high, it's dragging them up. And for others, one or the other is just too low. You know what I mean? Like Okocha, unfortunately, his career, he just didn't accomplish enough. Oscar, his career, unfortunately, he just wasn't good enough. Riquelme's footballing ability is so good that even despite the lack of like a real vintage European career, he still has to rank extremely highly for me, man. The performances this guy was putting in for Argentina, Copa America 2007, I highly urge every single one of you guys who haven't seen it to watch the tape. This guy's Copa America 2007 was unbelievable. I strongly urge you to watch his Club World Cup final against Real Madrid for Boca Juniors. Off the charts. His World Cup 2006, off the charts. His Villarreal 2006 campaign, off the charts, excuse me. This guy was a baller, man. In terms of low center of gravity, balance, ability to kind of just hold players off that are twice his size, Riquelme is the best number 10 I've ever seen at that. I've never seen a player whose low center of gravity was so OP that it was like a signature move. Just spins out and you couldn't get the ball off him because of how much of like a boulder he was at times. This guy's a genius, man, Riquelme. I love him. I love him to death. James Rodriguez. For me, table 4. We'll re-rank, like I said. We'll change it up, like I said. But for me, table 4. Personally, I think James' career is a little overrated. 2014 World Cup is the pièce de résistance for him. The best player at that tournament, in my opinion. I know Messi ended up winning it. Well, to be fair, Robin was really good at that tournament. Those were the 3 best for me. Messi, Robin, and James Rodriguez. But that 2014 World Cup put him on the map. He was a good player for Porto. This put him on the map. Moved to Monaco, then moved to Real Madrid. And I'll be real, his first season at Real Madrid 14-15 was good. After that, he was basically a squad player for them, man. Did okay at Bayern, went to Everton. His club career is kind of all over the place, but in terms of natural talent, James is a brilliant player. And that World Cup campaign, I think it has to put him at least table 4 in my opinion, man. At least table 4. And this is where table 1 starts to get techie, man. He has to be table 1. Has to be. He's got to be in this table. Again, we can organize the ranking after. He's table 1 though. He is table 1. Everything you want, he's got. Goals, check. Assists, check. Trophies, check. Peak, check. Talent, check. Longevity, check. Wayne Rooney. Where do I start? Mr. Manchester United. A Scouser, I'm calling Mr. Manchester United. What this brother did for my football club, I'll never forget, man. I'll never forget. I've been honored as well, too, to meet the great man as well, too. But Wayne Rooney, in my opinion, when we talk about best Premier League players of all time, we always talk about Henry. We've started including Salah in that conversation. We talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, and all those guys are brilliant. De Bruyne. But I always find it funny how this guy almost gets left out at times. Because if you're going to rank players on different attributes, like I said, goals, assists, career, trophies, ability, longevity, prime, he could do everything, bro. He has everything, bro. Why can't he be considered one of the top 3 greatest Premier League players of all time? I think he's easily in there. For me, Wayne Rooney's number 1. Number 1. Wesley Sneijder. I would go Sneijder here. Table 3 for me. For the Dutch, he was wonderful. And for Inter, he put together one of the best number 10 seasons that we've seen in the last 15 years. Or is it even 15 years now? 2010s. He put together an amazing season, bro. An amazing season. Sneijder has to be table 3 for me. Even though I think this claim from people that he should have won the Ballon d'Or in 2010 is way off the mark. I don't even think he was the best player on that Inter team. I think Milito was. And no right human in their right mind would have ever said Sneijder was better than Lionel Messi that year. Impossible. For me, I put him table 3, though. He was still brilliant. This is where it's going to get uncomfortable, guys. Totti has to be number 1. Totti has to be table 1. In my opinion, I think Totti was better than Del Piero. Now, I know a lot of people have different opinions to that. Some people prefer Del Piero. I think as a natural footballer, Totti was better than Del Piero. I think he was more gifted. This guy right here claims he would have won the Ballon d'Or if he had left Roma. I agree with him. A guy that rejected Real Madrid and Manchester United at their absolute pomps. We're talking about the Galacticos of Real Madrid trying to sign Totti. We're talking about Sir Alex Ferguson trying to sign Francesco Totti. He turned them both down to stay with Roma. And get this, not only just to stay with Roma, to win with Roma. Roma have won Serie A 3 times. In 1941-42, 1982-83, and 2000-2001. This right here is a goated accomplishment. You can't tell me lack of ambition for Totti when he literally won with Roma. He decided to stay and won with them. That's goated, bro. That's goated. In fact, I would love to see how many of the trophies Roma won in their history coincided with him being at the club. 1 of 3 came under Totti. Runners up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times runners up with Totti at the club. Coppa Italias. 2 of the 9 came with Totti. Runners up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Totti. Both Super Coppa Italianas coming with Totti. And then to be fair, European, they've done quite well without him. But he is Mr. Roma. I don't think you'll find a player that encapsulates and symbolizes his football club more than Francesco Totti. The real one-man club. The real one-man team guy. What a guy. And also, numbers as well too, guys. You know, he won European Golden Shoe. He was the top scorer in Europe for a single season. His numbers are off the charts. Totti's a baller, man. I think this is one of them ones where anyone disagreeing with his position, they just need to watch him. They just need to watch him, man. Special player. Rafael van der Vaart. Again, I love Van der Vaart. I absolutely love him. Fun fact, the first ever European Golden Boy winner. The first ever one. For Hamburg, he was unbelievable. For Spurs, he was actually quite good as well, too. Talent-wise, very, very good. Career-wise, severely underperformed. This guy should have had a much better career than he actually did. Because his talent was actually off the charts. Everybody knows Van der Vaart, I feel, these days because of his punditry and how brutally honest he was. And he's almost become a bit of like a laughingstock because of that. But if you actually watch Van der Vaart in his career, you would know this guy was a damn good player. But I'm sorry, oh my goodness. Why he joined Real Madrid when he did, I'll never understand. And in general, just didn't take his career seriously enough in my opinion. Because he should have been much, much better than he actually was. Van der Vaart, I'm going to put right here. I love these two. These are 2 of my favorite players ever, bro. But I'm going to put them... Oh, but Payet there. We're going to have to come back to this. Zidane. Number 1. I spoke about Zidane in the midfielders list. For me, the greatest midfielder of all time. I don't even need to talk about this. This one, honestly, there is no need to even to talk about him. Zidane is number 1. Argue with whoever you want. Number 1. Okay, now it gets uncomfortable. And this is why I said Kaká goes here. Someone else has to drop out. We'll come back to this. So this is technically going to be 34 through 38 because we took 3 players out. Bottom, what can put this guy here? Bottom, 1, 2, 3. So 38, 37, 36, 35, 34. Who out of these 2 am I pushing up another tier? Who out of these 2 am I pushing up another tier? 2 of my favorite players ever. Nasri even is, these are 3 of my favorite players ever. Van der Vaart or Diego? Van der Vaart. Van der Vaart. I'm sorry, Diego. Van der Vaart. Then we got Van der Vaart, Payet, JJ, Goodjohnson. I'm going to put Goodjohnson here. No, I can't do that. Maybe I put him here. Van der Vaart, Payet, Goodjohnson, Okocha, Joe Cole. I'm putting JJ over Joe Cole. Coutinho, Guti. So 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. It's the right number. Is there anybody else that needs to be moved here? Götze's last. To be fair, Oscar should be last. But Götze just didn't do enough. Bro, Götze, come on. He was like a meteor, bro. He just didn't. I find it very difficult to justify putting Götze anywhere other than table 6. As much as I loved him as a player. Mata or Guti? I put Guti here. I put Mata here. In fact, I even put Coutinho over Mata. That's my list. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Okay. Guti, James, Hamsik, Eriksen, Bruno, Firmino, Royce. I'm going to put Eriksen over Bruno. I think Eriksen at his best was better than Bruno. This whole table 4 is hard to rank, bro. It's actually very hard to rank. I'm going to put James above Hamsik. I'm going to put Firmino here. I'm going to put Firmino here. Honestly, you guys might be ranking Firmino higher than me. But I just look at Firmino. I think he's a brilliant player. But I'm sorry, he was also never like... You put him in the same team as any of these other guys were and ask him to recreate what they were able to do. I don't think he'd be able to do it. I think he was a brilliant player alongside everybody else. But you ask him to kind of be the main man like a lot of these guys were. I don't think he'd be able to do it. I don't think so. I'm leaving this alone. I think so. Aymar, Schneider, Riquelme, Isco, Dybala, Deco, Costa. I'm happy with these two. What we say in chat? Isco or Dybala? Isco over Dybala. Wow, that's overwhelming, man. That's overwhelming. Okay. Isco over Dybala. Isco over Costa and Deco. Where did I have Isco in my list with these other guys, man? I'm trying to remember if I had Isco over Deco and Costa, or maybe these guys weren't even in the list. I always say this, right? In between the rankings, you're kind of like, everyone is around the same level, and you're kind of just picking, it's like really preference. In between ranks, I think, is where there's a big discrepancy. Isco. I had Isco here. I had him above Deco, to be fair. And I'm sure I made a great argument at the point. So I'll put Isco here. All right. Muller, Griezmann. Muller or Griezmann? Oh, I think Muller's above Griezmann. No chat. Yeah, I go Muller, I think. Yeah, I go Thomas Muller. Bro, Thomas Muller, man, again, he's not as good as a lot of these guys just from an individual point of view. But the importance he had to the teams he was playing for. But then again, that's kind of like the Firmino logic I gave. And he's really like the uber version of Roberto Firmino. Oh, man. And Kavik, Kavik just said, bro, I'm German and Muller is levels above Ozil. I bet a lot of Germans think that. Like, Muller to the German national team was probably better than Ozil was. But I also think Ozil's a better player than Muller is. By, like, I think he's just a more gifted player. I think, at their best, Ozil is better than Muller. I'll put Griezmann here. I think they can be interchanged. Like I said, I think all these guys can be interchanged. I'm happy with this list, to be honest. Kaká, Bergkamp, Silva, Ozil, Griezmann, Muller. I'm happy with that. Well, if anything, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One of these guys has to move down. Zinedine Zidane, you are safe. Wayne Rooney. Fuck it. Hold on. This is actually my list, bro. Why am I contemplating? It's my list, bro. I'm just moving 1 through. What the hell? I'm not sniping any of these guys, bro. They're all too good. Now, order-wise is a different question. Nah, Raul has to be here. Raul has to be table 1. Easily. But this is where it gets complicated. I'm not dropping Raul for any... No, none of these guys are moving on the table 2. Is the order good, though? Raul or Del Piero? I think I'm happy with this. I like Del Piero a lot. I love Raul as well, too, but I like Del Piero a lot. Yeah, I think these 6, I think I might be happy with this. Yeah, this is my list. Hey, a lot of people are going to have an issue with this. And I think, look, this table right here, table 4, is very difficult. It's really, really difficult. Because I think, honestly, you look at these guys down here, you can make the argument that a few of them are better. Like, Coutinho, at his best at Liverpool, individually, was probably better than Firmino was. But Firmino ended up winning all the accomplishments because he stayed at Liverpool. Like, JJ Okocha versus Hamsik, for example. Okocha's a more naturally gifted football. Hamsik took at the career he had. Payet, what a player. This is really the two for me that are difficult. I think I'm happy with the first 3 in terms of who's in the list. Table 4 and 5 is difficult, bro. It is difficult. Like, even Nasri should be above Diego, I think. Truthfully, Nasri should be here. Honestly, actually, this is what I'm gonna do. I think if I'm actually ranking these 3, Nasri should probably be above the other 2. And if I'm doing Nasri, Payet, is Nasri not above Payet? But Nasri, I think, belongs in this tier. Yeah, I think he did more than these guys. Yeah, he probably is above Payet. Good Johnson, I don't know. Good Johnson, he was a big player for that Chelsea side. Yeah, you know what? I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. This is my entire... Yeah, but winning the league, what does that mean, bro? You were part of a great team. Yeah, I'm happy with this list, guys. This is difficult. I know people are going to look at this guy in particular, right? What is he doing in table 4? I'm happy with my list. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. This is the best number 10s and central second strikers, excuse me, of the 20th century. And as all the tier lists always get a lot of hate, they get a lot of love too. Let me know down below. Guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe as well too on YouTube. I'll catch you guys very, very soon. Peace.